myth debunked that they're unreliable. A lot of people who speak on German vehicles, it's a different vehicle, they run different, they feel different. Not that there's anything bad with the Japanese or American vehicles, right? It's just a different setup. Certain things might wear a little faster than a Japanese vehicle or an American, but it's designed differently, it rides differently. Let's compare a Lexus to a Mercedes. Lexus, really nice luxury car, rides nice, everything's a little not as aggressive. And you compare that to a Mercedes side by side, it rides a little bit more aggressive in a good way, and I would say it rides a lot smoother. And with that, you have tighter tolerances, so things wear out. So I think a lot of it has to do with keeping up with the vehicle. I would say they're fairly reliable vehicles.
A myth about being a Mercedes owner that you can debunk.
Oh, the easiest one. All G-Wagons are kept up and are perfect. I don't know whose feelings I'm gonna hurt, but a lot of G-Wagons fall a little bit behind on maintenance and repairs and cost a lot of money. So a lot of people buy Mercedes, the expensive ones. They pay $200,000, let's say, and they believe they don't have to do any maintenance, any repairs. It's a bulletproof vehicle. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's still rubber, still plastic, still materials, still has service intervals. They actually have a lot more stuff in them than a basic little Honda Civic. And then you add on the fact that it's a heavy labor car, doesn't make it a good conversation. It's like, hey, all of these 6 items that were noted last time are still there, and now you have 2 more items or 4 more items, and now it's a stop drive situation. It's gonna break at some point. And that's when some brands get the stigma of like, oh, don't get a Mercedes, it's an expensive vehicle to maintain. It's like, no, if you can maintain it the proper way, it will last.
Mercedes owner myth.
People have the understanding that a part is a part and there's no difference of parts. So this thermostat versus this thermostat. So let's say this one's Mercedes, genuine part. And this one is one you got from the parts store. It's a thermostat. They should do the same things, right? The biggest difference between factory parts and parts store parts, every single part is inspected before it's sent to the dealership to be put onto the car. So the manufacturer, whether it be Mercedes, whether it be Bosch, whatever brand, because sometimes a license to be built by somebody else. And every part that has the Mercedes logo and genuine, every one of those parts is inspected, every one of them. In the aftermarket world, you have layers, right? You have OE, which is the low, you have OEM, and you have OES, and then you have genuine, okay? So genuine is everyone's inspected. OEM or OES, it might be every 5th to 15th part is inspected for quality. And the more you go down into the lesser brand, sometimes they don't even inspect any of the OE stuff. So that's the big thing. So a part is a part. That's false. That's false. A spark plug from Mercedes versus spark plug from the parts store, it'll just have a quality difference. It really does. It's a problem because it can cause a failure. It can cause you to be in like a limp mode. I can also tag with fluids, oils, coolants, fuel. Fuel is a huge one. Fuel stations is another big one. All my cars fill up at the same gas station only. Top tier gas stations only. So you go to a Circle K, that's very poor quality gas. And you gotta consider what's in the ground, the tank that's holding your fuel. Places that have the badge of top tier, there's an extreme standard of the tank in the ground. So that's a big one. So picking a place that's high quality, Chevron, QT is top tier. I've heard that Costco is now top tier, but like Chevron, Textron, all these bigger brands, Vallejo, that's where you get gas. You want your pump to say top tier fuel when you go to put it in there. Whether it's low to high grade, but all of that grade and the tanks in the ground is all high quality. A lot of people just go anywhere, oh, I'm here, I'm gonna get it. It's like, I'll avoid it. And I'll risk running out of fuel trying to go to QT than to go to Circle K. You can get contaminants just straight out of the tank into the fuel pump, rocks, silt, water, right? And then that enters the engine and that can cause havoc. I mean, it could fail the injectors. The silty material can clog the injector and not let it seal and shut. And then it's just overspraying fuel because the little pinhole's hung up by some debris, and that would cost you a motor. It may cost you the fuel system. We may have to replace it all because there's contaminants all in it. Fuel is a big thing, and I think a lot of people overlook it. Adhere by the specification of the car. So the car is gonna tell you, most likely in the fuel door, that it takes 87 or 91. That's also important. So if your car is asking for higher octane and you're putting low octane in there, you can get a bunch of drivability concerns, you can get misfires, you can get all kinds of lack of power, and all it is fuel grade. Engine oil, huge. Oil is not just oil. You know, you have low-end oil and you have high-end oil, and we use the top. There's nothing above the oil that we use here. These cars, it's a high-performance car, and you put low-performance parts in it, not good, not good.